This is an HR program on demand, a living seed capsule of work life and workplace coming live from a rooftop in Stockholm, Sweden. It's me, Anne Marie, and
me, Katarina Berg.
A vodcast, if you like, on HR, straight across the counter. Sponsored by HR The Real Deal, HR by HR for HR. Katarina.
Yes, Anne Marie.
Hello. Welcome back. My dear, it's been summer, which basically means...
It's still summer.
Yeah,
September is also a summer month.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say was it's been summer, and then obviously you have a bit more time to read, and I noted something.
And reflect.
True.
That.
Read, reflect, get some perspective. And I noted something. It was quite interesting. It seems like there have been quite a few CEOs, MDs, who have had interesting thoughts on HR.
Yeah. You mean the typical strides that sits with us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you noted that as well?
Yes, I have. And first of all, no matter whatever their opinion is or what the reason are, I would go, that's a good thing. That means that what we've been saying, and I think also noticing and also been feeling, is true.
Mm-hmm.
Our area or our span of control, our abilities, capabilities, our knowledge is getting more and more interesting, no matter if people think what we do or what we believe or how we do things are exactly what they would like it to be, or if it's correct or tweaked in the right way in their organization, because we all know that there needs to be iterations and it needs to start with what company is it? What are we trying to do, right?
Exactly.
So you can't copy left and right. But I have seen a couple of things. Let's see if you have read the same. So one thing that has been, I think, being under attack is diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And it's not one CEO, it's several CEOs. It seems to be a trend, especially in tech, to go, hey, more or less. And not so, I think, well read up and not necessarily quite deep on knowledge, more a bit shallow, hey, let's not do that, or that is not good for culture, or that doesn't help business. And I think we could have 200 episodes of going why that is wrong. They are not wrong, I think, per se. And I think there are a couple of things what they are trying to say, to be a bit also rude. But it doesn't come through of what they are trying to say. I think we had a couple of years when we did a lot of things because we were either scared or because it was in the aftermath and we tried to please, or that we appointed people that were not ready, had the knowledge, or could actually do the changes that was in line with the business and also helping to change either the ratio or to serve underrepresented groups or typical marginalized groups, and also do it in a way where it doesn't necessarily slow down, but actually emphasizes and also empowers and also help you stay innovative, being creative, because we all know when everybody's thinking the same, not so good.
No.
Very few then are thinking very hard. And when you are not colliding, but when you come with different backgrounds, when you come with different opinions, you come from different, whatever, this is where the spark of thinking a bit out of the typical box, but it is like a prisma, right? If you put the light in here, it will come. So it's all about perspectives.
Yes.
So you have to be mindful of having as many perspectives as possible. So shallow. And I also think that nothing should be a trend, and I think it was a trend, but I think more so the debate should be, why did we get scared and why did we recruit people that did not have a chance to do the proper job? And we see a lot of companies that didn't do that, and I think they're still doing a lot of work and hard work, because the hot work, as we usually say, is the hard work. So this is not an easy feat. So that is one topic. Is that one of the ones that you also read?
Yeah, I agree. I also said that. I also saw that. But do you think that So what is it like a boomerang now on the diversity and equity and inclusion, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's a boomerang. I think actually we will see a lot of companies hide behind that trend and also thinking these really cool and very, I think, successful CEOs are saying that it's not good and it's no good for nothing. And then they will go, okay, then we don't have to do, which...
We don't have to invest in it
So it's going to be a setback. But I think, again, you have to really figure out why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Why is it good? And how are you supposed to work with these things? So foresee setback. I hope not. I really, really hope I'm wrong here. The second topic I saw in several places was, hey, I'm not really sure if you need to have that many managers or managers at all.
Oh, right.
Combined with, I don't do one-on-ones. I think one-on-ones are not necessarily that important.
They're overrated. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just going to go on our data, which is, again, is going to be short. This is also one of those. It's nuanced, it's a lot of things. But if you're asking what did you read, I read this. And I read it from several places. If I go to our data, we see, for instance, one-on-ones, the managers that have weekly or bi-weekly one-on-ones, there are less confusion, which means there are bigger engagement and also faster execution.
True.
And then we also see a longer tenure. And we see that in the data. So to say that let's not do one-on-ones would be, who wants to just flip that question and go, do you want lower engagement? Do you want shorter tenure? And also, do you want people to be more confused so they don't know what to execute?
Yeah.
Because what we are seeing too, the same CEOs are talking about productivity or org effectiveness or manager effectiveness or people effectiveness. So if you have a tool that makes them effective, I think you should not mess up the truth of, I'm not interested to have one-on-ones. I don't like to have one-on-ones. Or I think for me, is kind of not necessarily what makes me engaged as a manager, from how does it help the people that happens to report into you. So I think that was another trend. Was that something?
Yeah, I picked that up as well. And there was this particular company, there was this big article on this particular company who's like taking away all of the managers and then organizing the company, which is it's a fairly big global international company in self-serving teams.
Yes.
But so on that topic, on the one-to-ones, can I just keep it? Isn't that also, the topic of leadership? What is it to be a people leader? I mean, you cannot, if you're leading a team, you cannot abdicate from what it actually means to be a people leader.
I guess you can, because that's what they are.
Yeah, but they're doing, right?
Yes,
But the truth is, if you are a people leader, your most important task is actually, to your point, where are we heading? Bring that clarity, stay close to your people, give them, whatever advice, guidance, support they need, because they are actually doing the work. And if you don't get that as a people leader, you shouldn't be a people leader. You cannot abdicate from that responsibility. And the one-to-ones actually helps you, if you have that on a regular basis, it helps you to be much more efficient and increase that productivity in a very easy way, actually.
Yeah. But I think this is where it gets tricky, because short term, I think you can. And for sure, some of the people that has these opinions are running very successful companies. But we also remember, I think, saying how old we are, the two of us, and
very
speaking more to
seasoned. We say we're seasoned.
Yeah, seasoned.
Yeah.
Is that we used to 15 years ago, maybe 10, but 15 years ago, I think, talk about suffers and the success and not having any managers.
Right.
Do anybody talk about them today?
No.
Oh, and their circles. Do they even exist today? So I think these are the things too. And the second thing that makes it tricky, obviously you will say people managers, I will do that because it's also our profession. So people will also brush it off like, of course HR or head of people will say that you need to have these. But I think you have to collect the dots, you have to connect the dots, and you have to also go into, okay, what is that? And then the last piece that makes it a bit tricky, because you can't also say that they are totally wrong. you have to go back to what type of company did you build from the
Exactly.
beginning? What type of people did you attract? And also, were you clear that in this company, hey, there's not going to be guidance, it's not going to be open at all, it's not going to be transparent, we're not going to have any one-to-ones. And we have found other ways where you will understand where the North Star is and how we work. And who are we to say that in some companies they might have cracked that code? But when you go out and say, every company that does one-on-ones, hey, why do you spend that time? And you know what too, I find it to be boring. Then you say that maybe one of your most, or the critical or most important asset, spending time with them is quite boring. I find that to be short-sighted, a bit rude, and I'm curious to see how that works out, to be honest.
I'm also curious, and
I also respectful that you can. Maybe you have something, then the rest of us have not.
She said.
I don't know. We will see.
But
that has also been trending, right?
Yeah, it has been trending, and you're right. You're curious. But I think also to your point, if you don't have time or you think it's boring to spend time with your people, who do you actually think drives your business and does the business? Question mark.
Yeah. Last trend.
Yeah.
Media and also people reaching out or want to do interviews. And for sure, we can't be the only ones that have had this from media all around the world is, okay, this work from anywhere that we have labeled it as, or the mix, or the 2-2, 3-2-2, or the hybrid, or whatever you like to call it. Are you asking your people to come back 5 days or 4 days and mandating that? Are you doing the same thing? And so far, no, we're not. And I think that is one of the conversations we have had. You have had it at least twice with Anna and Alex, who are the masterminds about our Spotify Work From Anywhere program. You and I have touched on it so many times because it seems to be, and I think Nick Bloom put it, that has, I think, most data in the world and research saying that it's kind of a fork. He doesn't put it like this, but a kind of a fork in the road where you see a lot of companies now mandating people come back. But it doesn't mean that there's a lot of companies that also understand that you have 3 years of experience now if you started quite early. And
if you started late.
Or you started late, depending. But with that data, it's not perfect. But you are comparing hundreds of years when everybody came to the farm, or everybody came to the factory, or everybody came to the office. So obviously, it's not perfect when it comes to all the things, and it doesn't mean that you have to give up on something that you think is important, especially if it means that you are more attractive and that people have their freedom and that they have their flexibility and that they still do a great job. And it means that something has to give. There's not one model, no matter what we talk about, that's going to be perfect for everybody all the time. Nor company, not individuals. But I think that is one of the things that we also been reading all through summer, and I think that's going to kind of follow us into the fall and the winter too.
I agree. And just to summarize, work is not a place you go to, it's something you do. And I think every company needs to figure out what does that look for them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Interesting autumn.
It's going to be.
We're ready for the last quarters of this year.
I almost, since we are Sweden, I thought you would say we're ready for the darkness.
Yeah, but I don't know if we're ready.
No.
You're never ready. You never get adjusted, but we accept it.
Yeah, and this is why you have to stay strong. You have to stay safe. You also have to stay active.
Idemodalje.
Okej.
Det är också bra att vi går och liksom ställer oss i ett hörn med smygpratar som om Simon inte hör.
Så det är inte dig vi smyger för. Det är bara, om vi inte är i kamera så kan du inte använda det sen.
Men det är så här. Här står vi som två pingviner.
Det var därför jag sa så här till Anne Marie. Simon har lite problem med sina lojaliteter ibland. Han glömmer av att han är min. Och jag har claimat honom så hårt den här sommaren.
Har folk inte fattat att man ska hålla sig väl med hårchefen?
Det skiter de fullständigt
Ja.
i, men det gillar jag. Ja, men jag gillar att vi inte är så hierarkiska. Bra
gjorde
Simon,
inte jag.
bra! When you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm so ready.
Done and dusted.
Done and dusted.
I'm done and dusted.
Dusted. Exactly.
Varför ligger det stolar ner? För att de
För
trampar
att, vi
runt
inte,
annars.
för att vi inte ska röra på oss. Han ser som en riktig så här roddare.
Ja.
Jag tror den.
Vilken kamera tittar vi? Den?
Nej,
den?
den
Ja, det var-
såklart, den som
men,
blinkar.
men först tittade jag där, sen bara...
Du
Var fan är jag
kanske
någonstans?
ska ta en till då.
Ja, men ta en till. Aj,
Du tittar ju.
ja, jag vet, jag blev lite osäker där. Vad är det du håller på med? Vart ska jag titta? Skönt att man får den här kommentaren. Men du är inte riktigt med här. Nej. Very good. Vad roligt. Vi är på gång. Vi är tillbaka.